welcome to my channel. Today I will be doing a voiceover over how to do a full acrylic set. Here I am starting by pushing back the cuticle using this cuticle pusher from Beauty Pure. I'm very gently just pushing back, removing all the dead skin, or trying to remove the dead skin with this cuticle pusher. We always have to do this even if we are not removing the cuticle. Even if you are not removing the cuticle completely, always push back. I'll try to do this video as beginner friendly as possible, so I'll try to explain everything as if you don't know, just because I feel like I get a lot of questions on my Instagram, TikTok, even on Facebook, asking me how I do things, where I buy my stuff, and what I recommend or what steps I do. So the very first step will always be to push back cuticle. Like I said, you can use any cuticle pusher if you believe that you feel more comfortable using the wooden sticks. That's also acceptable, as long as you're pushing back all the cuticle. After pushing back, we will go ahead and remove all the shine on the natural nail using a 180 or 240 sanding bit. This is a 240. You can find these anywhere. I get these from Beauty Pure. Here I'm just gonna go ahead and remove the natural shine, and also being very careful not to touch the cuticle so we don't damage our client's fingers or skin. When we do this, we want to do it at a very low RPM. Normally I do a 6, and that is because I am using their nail drill. It does depend on your nail drill, but always make sure it's a very low speed because you don't want to burn your nails. And also always move your drill so that it doesn't cause friction and we don't burn our client's nails. So after this step, I will go ahead and cut the cuticle. I'm using these nippers from the same brand, and as you guys can see, I'm only cutting whatever was exposed. Whatever I pushed back is what I'm removing. I don't go very deep to do a very deep cuticle clean, because that's just something that I don't offer. I only remove if I see that it is very exposed, because as a beginner you guys don't want to go in there too much, especially if you don't feel very comfortable. So whatever you see, I recommend you cut. If you don't feel too comfortable, don't do it. As long as you're pushing back your cuticles, that will help with retention. So I'm just gonna go ahead and speed up a little bit here so you guys can see how I remove it. Here I am going to go ahead and start applying my Super Bond. This is from the same brand. I'm going to go ahead and apply this to all of her nails. When doing this, just be careful to not touch the cuticle or the skin, because if your client is allergic to it, it could start having an allergic reaction while she's there at your chair. This is not a new client, so she has never had any allergic reactions, but still try to be very careful, especially when it's a new client, because you don't know how she will react to the products. As you guys can see, I don't use a dehydrator, but if you guys like to use one, go ahead and do the dehydrator and then the bond. Here, as you can see, I'm slanting a little bit my powder just because it's almost empty or halfway empty, and it's better for me to pick up my beads. Here I am gonna go ahead and start the application. I do different type of applications depending on the length and shape of the nails, but here, since these are very short and they're very slim, I will go ahead and just do very small beads to complete my application. This part of the video is not sped up, so this is in real time, so you guys can see how I pick up my beads and how I apply them. I always try to be very careful when I get close to the cuticle area, just so that it doesn't flood the skin, and then that might cause lifting. So be very careful when applying the bead close to the cuticle. Always try to do very small beads once you're getting close to that, just to prevent any lifting. Here I will go ahead and show you again. I do a medium bead to where the tip meets the natural nail, just to form some type of apex. We don't need that much just because these nails are very short, but you still need some apex, so be very careful to not miss that, because then your nails will be very flat and they will tend to break. So we don't want to damage our natural nails or our clients' nails, so please be very careful. Okay, so if you guys are wondering, the acrylic I am using is Bad and Bougie from the V Beauty Pure brand. This is one of my favorite pinks. It is very beautiful. Also, I want to mention that these acrylics are very beginner friendly. If you guys have ever used any of their powders, any of their acrylics, any of their system, please comment down below so other girls can see how easy it is to work with these. Honestly, for me, before I found this brand, I did have some trouble doing my application, of course with my retention as well. These acrylics honestly do apply like butter, so I recommend that if you've never tried them, at least try one of their covers. Also, one thing with their monomer is that it doesn't dry as fast. It's a medium to normal speed as when it dries. If you're just starting, or if you're a beginner nail tech, I recommend you doing small beads just how I'm doing here. Never, or don't try to go with a one bead method. It's always harder, or maybe if that works for you, great, but honestly, in my opinion, when I first started, I was trying to do the one bead method, and it's just so hard, and sometimes it's very difficult to build an apex when you do that. So try, if you're having trouble with your application or maybe with your retention, try smaller beads like I am doing here. Like you see, I'm just doing like a medium to small bead, and then I just go from there depending on how much product I see I need. That's why you always have to be turning your client's finger to see where you need more product, like I had just said. But here I'm gonna go ahead and leave it's a little bit more sped up here as to the application. I will go ahead and just leave it plain so you guys can see how I do it. And if you guys have any questions or want me to maybe explain something else later, go ahead and leave it in the comments, and I will go ahead and do a video for you guys. I know you guys have a lot of questions. Like I said, I'm always getting all these messages, so I'm trying to answer as much as I can here. But let me know if you want to see anything else, and I will go ahead and try to do a video for you. I didn't show when I filed these nails, but for the most part, I just basically do the buffer, maybe sometimes the file. But since the application is very smooth, I sometimes just do a buffer. I don't use the file as much. Here I did file, but I didn't record that part, so I'm just showing you guys here how I clean with acetone right before I go in with the gel. So for this design, I will go ahead and do a French tip. French tip has their own techniques. I might do a video of that later, but I'll just leave you guys here the finished look on how I did this acrylic. I am using a 22mm liner. I do recommend you guys use a longer one. It is a little bit easier to draw the Frenchies when you have a longer liner, so if you're using a very short one and it works for you, just stick to that. But honestly, I used to use a shorter one before, and when I switched to a longer one, I feel like I do the Frenchies faster. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I'm gonna go ahead and just show you guys here how I do it. And if you guys are wondering what polish this is, it is 188 from the Sweet Nothings collection from V Beauty Pure. I believe you can't buy it by itself. I've tried to look for it just typing in the 188 and I haven't been able to find it, so I think you have to buy the full collection. But honestly, you guys, if you do buy it, you won't regret it. It has a bunch of pastels colors. It comes with this one, a pink one, a lavender one, a peach one, and a blue one. They're very, very beautiful. I will go ahead and link them just in case you want to buy them. For this design, I will go ahead and do a crocodile design or effect, if that's how you call it. Applying here blooming gel from the same brand. This will just make the gel spread. I just apply it, and before curing it with a liner, I'm just gonna go ahead and do these little lines, dots, whatever you want to call them, with the same liner, and then wait for them to just spread, smear a little bit, and then once I'm done with this nail, I'll go ahead and cure it one by one or two at a time, just because if I wait too long, they will smear too much by the time I'm done with the other nails. So I'll go ahead and cure them for 60 seconds, and then I'll do these two. Once I'm done, I'll just go ahead and cure it with the top coat from the same brand, and look how beautiful these came out. If you guys have any questions, maybe I didn't answer as much as I probably thought I did, go ahead and leave in the comments. And also, here are my socials if you guys want to go follow me somewhere else. And thank you very much for watching.